tiny chain of islands in the middle of the Indian Ocean has become the center of a legal fight, a colonial reckoning, and now a high stakes geopolitical showdown. These are the Chagos Islands, which were cleared of their native population in the 1960s so the UK and the US could build a massive military base on Diego Garcia. It's a base that has since been used to launch operations in Iraq and Afghanistan and is considered one of America's most strategic air and naval hubs in the region. But decades later, the descendants of those exiled Chagossians are still fighting to go home. Now, 4 men who sailed to the outer islands to establish what they call a peaceful settlement have been served eviction papers, but a judge has temporarily blocked their deportation. And all of this is unfolding as Britain moves to hand sovereignty of the islands to Mauritius, and that's where U.S. politics comes in. Donald Trump has warned the U.K. not to give away Diego Garcia, arguing that the base is critical if the U.S. needs to project power in the Middle East or counter Iran and China. All right, let's take a look. We have a guest now joining us who's going to really break this down. Frankie Bontemps is a Chagossian activist and the acting chairperson of Chagossian Voices, who has long campaigned for the right of native islanders to return to their homeland. Now, for viewers who might not know the history, your community was forcibly removed by the British government in the late 1960s to make way for this military base on Diego Garcia. And decades later, many Chagossians still can't resettle there. What does this latest court injunction mean for that broader fight to return home? And what has your community been doing essentially to try and make it back to the islands?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak anyway, for more awareness about our plight. So what I wanted to add is for the last 50 years, through different campaign, different Chagossian group been campaigning for our right of return. Recently, there is this sovereignty agreement between the UK and US government, where actually Chagossian has been completely excluded from. We're not been consulted. And actually what's happening is what's best for the UK and the US and Mauritian government, they're completely ignoring the right of the people. What the world needs to know is it's us, our people, who've been the main victim in all this tragedy. For the last 50 years, our people have been living in exile, dumped in Mauritius and the Seychelles. And nowadays, they are doing the same thing. They are deciding the future of the territory without us. But anyway, I salute recently what there was 4 Chagossians who recently went one of the outer islands, which is 120 kilometers from the main island where there is on Diego Garcia, where there's a military facility. So I think it's good to create awareness, to make the world know that there are still people who, it's not about geopolitical strategy, about talking about Indo-Pacific or whatever. At the center of this lies the people who are still suffering.
You know, Frank, I want to ask you, the UK says that entering the outer islands without a permit is legal and unsafe. They argue that this new sovereignty deal with Mauritius is going to secure the future of the military base. Do you see this handover as a step toward justice for Chagossians, or another decision that's being made without your community's full consent? And obviously we're seeing this pressure from Donald Trump. What is your community's take on all of this?
Actually, with this agreement, the main island, Diego Garcia, where most Chagossians were living, this will be off limits. So no resettlement will happen on Diego Garcia for the next 99 years, which is the length of the lease agreement between the UK and Mauritius for the use of Diego Garcia. My mom was born there, like many Chagossians. So how is it fair for us? We can't live on Diego Garcia while, we are not against the military base. We understand its importance. But what we are asking is for us to live peacefully next to the base, where there are civilians all around the world who live next to big military facility. That's our plight. They should listen to us. They should allow us finally to go home and to be able to enjoy our homeland.
How big is the Chagossian diaspora today? And, of course, the other question that I just wanted to ask you is, what is the argument against allowing the Chagossian community to resettle? Why is that considered a dangerous move?
I don't know. Regarding the UK, it's in 2015, there was a feasibility study being commissioned by the British government. KPMG did that study. And at that time, they mentioned if resettlement happened, it should be on Diego Garcia. But afterward, the British government said in Parliament, like, they could not go ahead because of cost to the taxpayer and also for security reason. But I don't know security for who. We are not a threat to the base. What we are asking is like for us to give us the chance to live on our island with the base. That's not a problem for us. It's never been a problem for the Chagossian.